Hi, welcome to Talking Books and Stuff, the program that talks all about books and writing and stuff. Here's your host, Dennis Rimmer.
Welcome back. It's another edition of Talking Books and Writing and Stuff. Dennis Rimmer here from Radisson, Saskatchewan. With us from back east, we have Natalie MacMaster, a master fiddle player started out in Nova Scotia, now lives in the Ontario area, I am told. Natalie has toured with the Chieftains, Faith Hill, Carlos Santana, Alison Krauss, has recorded with Yo-Yo Ma, appeared at Celtic festivals in Cape Breton, Scotland, MerleFest in the US. And Natalie MacMaster, I've got to start off by telling you my Natalie MacMaster story, okay?
Okay.
Here we go. I was traveling in Nova Scotia in the mid-90s, and we're traveling along, and there's this small town, and they're having a little concert of some sort, so we popped in, and it was Natalie MacMaster playing the fiddle, the Cape Breton fiddle music in Nova Scotia. We went, wow, this is great, wow. So then, a few months later, or maybe a year, because I was living in Bellingham, Washington at the time, and guess who shows up in Bellingham, Washington, but Natalie MacMaster. So we went to see you there.
Good.
Yeah. So there you
go. So cool.
So there.
What year would that have been when you saw me in Nova Scotia?
Oh, gosh. 95, maybe.
Right.
90.
And I remember that venue in Bellingham.
Yeah. So it was like the old Leopold Hotel, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. So
very cool.
Yeah. So that's my story. So what about your story? You were a fiddle player. Now, what's the difference between a fiddle and a violin?
Well, a lot of people in the traditional Celtic folk world will call their instrument a fiddle. A lot of people in the classical jazz world call it a violin, but really, there's no difference. It's like Santa Claus and St. Nicholas,
Right.
Same person, same instrument.
So you started playing with your family, was it? Did you learn about age 9? Is that when you first picked it up seriously?
That's right, yeah. Yeah, I was 9 years old, and I started playing that night. I can remember learning Twinkle Little Star, and I remember it coming fairly easily. It just felt right. It felt natural, and it felt right.
So the first tune you learned was that Twinkle Twinkle Little Star?
That's correct. Yeah.
And
that was it. And then I think the next day or within the next couple of days, I'd learned more of a fiddle tune. I think it was called the Glencoe March. It was one of the first real fiddle tunes I learned, and just progressed from there. And through my teens, developed quite a Cape Breton repertoire. And then as I got into my older teens, I started getting introduced to different fiddlers and fiddle styles, from Irish culture and the American traditions, and started incorporating some of those tunes.
Now, what is Cape Breton style?
It's a style that comes from Scotland. In fact, I'm told that the music in Cape Breton, which came over from Scotland in the mid-1700s, is actually an older, more pure form of Scottish music than the music in Scotland today.
So it's more traditional in the traditional sense of the word. So.
That's correct. Yeah.
Wow. So, what is your what brand of instrument do you play, or do you have more than one? I assume.
Well, we have 15 instruments that hang on the walls. We might even have 25 now in this house, different fiddles. But I have one that I use. That's it. I found my instrument, and I'm not interested in changing. And so it's called a JB Viome. It's a French violin, and I bought it from it's the only instrument I've ever purchased. Only fiddle, I should say, I ever purchased. All my instruments, and I bought it probably 10 years ago, my instruments prior to then were given to me. I've only ever played 2 or 3 violins, but this is my 3rd violin, really. So my first 2 were given to me, and I bought it from a guy in Nova Scotia. I just fell in love with it, and yeah, and once I get onto a certain fiddle, like I said, I only had 2 prior to this. I just get onto it, and that's it. I'm happy.
And what is it you like about this instrument compared to other ones?
Well, just the feel and the sound. The feel, it's hard to describe. It just feels right in your hand. It doesn't feel too big. It doesn't feel too small. It doesn't feel too tough. Everybody has a different gauge of what that is. It's completely personal. And then the sound, I just like how it sounds under my ear. Not too quiet, not too loud, not too bassy, not too thin. Has a good ring to it, projects well, takes a lot of pressure. Whatever I play, it'll take it. So, yeah.
There you go. Isn't it hard on the neck playing the fiddle?
Not really. No, like anything, you get used to it.
So you're always bending, but I guess it's, like you said, you get used to it. So do you do any exercises, physical exercises, to keep arms and neck and shoulders in shape?
Sorry, I'm not very interesting, but no, I don't.
Oh, well.
No.
Nope. You just pick it up and away you go.
Exactly.
So you've been named to the Order of Canada and the Order of Nova Scotia. What's it like getting those awards? What do you feel when they call your name and you say, wow?
Well, to be honest, we were at the East Coast Music Awards on Thursday, and one of the guys who received his award said, I'm not really into these, but I'll take it as an opportunity to thank people. And I thought, well, gosh, you shouldn't say that. I mean, it's still nice to get the award. You're going to end up using it on your bio and all that. But I realized when he said that I think a lot of musicians feel, what he said about it, he said, really, my award is the art itself. It's creating the music. It's playing with the musicians. And that's the award there. And I got his point, which is true. And you referred specifically to the Order of Canada and the Order of Nova Scotia. You don't go into the business like, well, I don't, and I think most of them don't, dreaming about the awards. Like, you really dream about the music. You think that's what you do it for 100%. So the awards are, like I said, there's something that you can use. They give you a credibility. That's what they do. They really give you a credibility. And so I think they're really important to have, especially if you've been in the business for a long time. You need to show that you're a credible musician, and really the awards just kind of give proof to the world that you're the real deal. And so I think to hear your name, it's kind of a surreal thing. It's kind of bonus or something. It feels like, wow, I didn't even try for that, And certainly with the Order of Canada or Order of Nova Scotia, it's like it just comes out of nowhere. You're just like, you weren't thinking about that, or you weren't focused on that. You were focusing on your art form and being great at that. But yes, the awards are a part of it, and they're an important part of it. And for me, I have to tell you, the Order of Canada was incredible, but I have to say that I think for me, the Order of Nova Scotia, which I got, 10 years later, was even more incredible because it came from my own people.
Right.
And I haven't lived there in 20 years, and for them to still acknowledge me and honor me in that way I shed a tear, I have to be honest. I shed a tear.
So you're in Ontario now, and from the sounds of it, you have a house full of kids, is that right?
That is right. We've got 7 children.
And I guess that's what you get for fiddling around, but...
I've heard that one before.
I know. It's the only one I could come... Well, actually, my wife came up with that one, but that's...
It's a good one. It's a good one.
So do you have a daily routine for your practicing? Do you, like a certain schedule where you say, okay, I've got to put in X amount of time today, or is it catch as catch can? Yeah,
just as you can. With 7 children, living in this house, there's 9 of us, playing it about. And you just have to, a lot of our kids are in sports. One of the boys even in AAA hockey, and there's gymnastics, there's soccer, music lessons, extracurricular, school gatherings, social projects, various things. So and that's just our kids' lives. Then there's our lives and our careers and the farming. I mean, we live on a farm, and so, there's a lot of juggling, and there's no routine. The routine is, look at your list of things to do for a day and see if you can fit things in wherever you get time.
Okay.
And so I go through periods where I don't practice for a few days, and I go through periods too where I'm like, oh my gosh, I had this important thing to get ready for, and I really need to be awesome. So you just make it work. So the other night, actually, before I left for the East Coast Music Awards, it was 11 o'clock at night, and we were having to get up at 4 in the morning, and I'm like, I have to play. So I played from 11 till 12, till midnight. And some people might say, well, you need your sleep. I'm like, well, I just know I need this too, because if I was playing every day, sure, but I hadn't been. And so I needed it. And so I did. I played. So that's what you do. You just have to cram it in when you can.
And you're with the family. Now the kids are into music as well as all of those other things?
Mm-hmm, that's correct.
Now, do they like it, or are they, oh, Mom, do I have to play the piano today?
Mostly like it. Do I have to play? That happens. Fortunately, I'm impressed that it doesn't happen as much as I thought it would, or as much as it did with me when I was a kid. So they're pretty darn good to go and practice. But yeah, sometimes if there's something else that they'd rather do, then it's hard. But generally speaking, they're very good.
Now, I understand you actually, the whole bunch of you tour as a family?
Yeah, we do some shows together. It's a hard one. We don't want to become a family band. I mean, we've worked our whole lives to have a excellence that is on a world-class scale, and we have band members that are, we've handpicked because of their achievements and their degree of musicianship, and so that's what we are. But in the meantime, we are also parents, and we have kids, and they need to play, and they do play, and they join us on stage, and now they have some gigs of their own. So there is definitely the family thing going on. I don't know where it all ends up. I just know that I have my foot in two doors.
And you've also played, let's say, Yo-Yo Ma. What was it like playing with him? Now, he's a renowned cellist, and I didn't know that cellists and fiddles go together, but obviously you made it work.
Yeah, for sure. Cellos and fiddles certainly go together, right? Think of all that music. Remember, a fiddle and a violin are the same.
Same thing, yes, of course. So.
It's the same. A fiddle, that instrument is the same instrument. There's no difference. I mean, it's just how you play it. Like I said, my grandmother used to call the fiddle a violin. She always called it a violin. And I mean, she grew up right in the thick of Celtic music, right? So, right. So certainly that instrument and the cello, they're on the same team. And it's a piece of music that we play. Well, you'll have to check it out. It's called So You Love. It's from our new CD. The CD is called Canvas. And you'll hear the blend of the instruments and styles. It's beautiful. I love how it came out.
Now, this is Natalie MacMaster talking about her latest release. We're recording this in May of 2023, so it's out and available right now. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
Okay. And what label is it on?
True North Records.
True North. The ones like Bruce Coburn and all that way back in the old days.
That's right.
I didn't know they were still going. That's grand. Sharon, Lois, and Bram, tell us about that.
Oh my goodness. I haven't heard their name in 25 years. Where did you pull that one out?
Oh, the internet tells us everything. So
holy cow.
Musical career.
Well, I haven't seen them in a long time, but yeah, I played on their record maybe, and I did some stuff with them years and years ago, like before I was married.
This, let's see, what do I have here? In 2004, MacMaster appeared on Sharon, Lois and Bram's 25th anniversary concert titled 25 Years of Skinamarink that aired on the CBC on January 1st, 2004. And you played Chicken and Grandpa's Farm. So.
Well, there you go. I got married 2002, so I guess I was married for a couple of years. I guess it was before the kids came along.
And then they started coming. Yep. So you've toured all over Canada, U.S., overseas, as they call it. Do you have a favorite place to play in Canada?
No, I don't. To me, even if you have a favorite place, it could change depending on the crowd. It's all about the crowd. So you might go to a place and have a bad experience, and then go back there and have a good experience. It's yeah, that's the way it is for me. It's just all about the energy in the audience. If you feel a strong connection with them, as opposed to a place. But, there's lots of nice venues, certainly. I've played at Carnegie Hall. That's definitely a highlight.
Whoa.
Be on that stage.
Yep.
Yeah, and the Hollywood Bowl is another one. These are, famous places that are just carry some weight in your mind and in your psyche.
And a place like the Hollywood Bowl is outdoors and Carnegie Hall is indoors, so the acoustics must all be completely different in those two places.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, but you just work with it. They have good sound systems, monitors and things developed over time that work for the room. Now,
what do you carry with you when you're on tour? What kind of equipment do you have to lug around, you and the band?
I have just my wireless packs. For me, yeah, I have my fiddle and my wireless packs. Just a DPA microphone and an LR Baggs preamp.
And away you go.
And away I go. Plug them in, and yeah.
Yeah. So I lost my train of thought here, but the LP, the CD, what's it called again? Canvas, like painting on a canvas, only it's different sketches of different musical type genres, I would assume.
That's it.
Got it. One more quick question. I know the violin and the fiddle are the same. Well, any idea where the term fiddle came up? Where it originated?
That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, you'll have to look that one up when we're done.
Okay.
I have to Google where the term fiddle came up. I imagine the word violin probably came first.
Yep.
I read a pretty cool article by Itzhak Perlman, who said, you're not a real player until you can call your instrument a fiddle. I thought that was pretty cute.
That's great. And on that note, we will wrap it up. I'll let you get back to all the busy households. There was somebody practicing the piano in the background.
Yeah.
And wish you all the best. And let's plug that CD one more time. It's called Canvas. It features you with Yo-Yo Ma. Anybody else on there that we would know? Lots
of guests. Rhiannon Giddens, an incredible singer. Brian Finnegan from the folk band Fluke, Irish band. Flamenco guitarist Yosemite Carmona, and then ourselves, our own band, Mark Kelso, Elmer Ferrer, and Remy Arsenault. Some local players from Toronto. Our daughter Mary Frances is well featured on there. She's playing piano all over that record and even wrote some of the tunes.
Oh,
yeah!
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's great. And once again, I want to thank you for your time today and continued good luck, and go try to keep the herd in line there.
Great. Thanks. Nice to talk to you.
Thank you for visiting with us today. This is Talking Books and Stuff with Dennis Rimmer. Contact him at dennis@talkingbooks.tk. Thank you, and may all the good news be yours. Oh, and don't forget to check out his book, The Great Canadian Notebook, available across Canada and at amazon.ca.